Okay guys, we're back, and today we're going to be doing some work on the Suburban. So what we need to do today is replace the ground cable, because the one I've got on there is really thin. So I got this one. We're going to try and fix the alignment on this door, because it doesn't sit flat. Notice. So we're going to try and fix that. I think actually that might be the problem right there. I don't know, we'll see. And then I'm gonna try and get this dent out. So I got a bunch of things that are not dent removal tools, such as this, and then a homemade hammer that I made from a chunk of stainless steel, which is really heavy. So that's gonna be the plan for today. I think we got a couple other things I gotta do. Might remove this carpet finally and try cleaning this out. I don't know, we'll see. Got a lot of stuff to do, and as is typical, I don't really have a plan on how I'm going to do it. So first thing I'm going to do is the cable. So I might have to drill a hole in this to make it slightly larger. Fortunately, the ride height on this thing is just enough that I don't need to lift it to get underneath it. Yeah, so as you can see, the ground cable on here is not super great. I got the wrong socket. Now we can put that back in. Now we gotta go grab a smaller wrench to try and undo the one up here on the frame. Alright, so I got it out. I don't know how well you can see that. Alright, so I've also got this piece of 60 grit sandpaper. Or 80 grit, excuse me. So I'm gonna take the one off of the starter, and I'm gonna clean that up a little bit as well. Alright, so I got the new grounding cable in there. Hopefully this one works a little bit better than the old one. Once again, is kind of starting to boil and bubble. And so next we are going to be dealing with this door not closing all the way. So I think it's just this little latch thing here. It's not working. There's also a pretty considerable amount of rust under there. That's fun. Well, I'm gonna go get a flathead and try and take this out and see if it can't break it loose. Alright, so right now what I'm trying to do is get the button. Let's see if I can figure out how to hold this. I'm trying to get this button, which if you can see that, to stick back into where it goes, which is like right here-ish. As of right now, it is just kind of not where it needs to go. And then I don't know what I'm going to do about this, because a couple of those bolts are rusted in there, so I might have to actually remove the door, which I really don't want to do. There's a lot of rust damage under there. All right, I'm just going to keep working at this. I'll get back to you guys when I've made some progress. Ultimately, what I think is probably going to happen is I'm just going to get new doors eventually. These will work for now. Like, I'm just going to spray that with some PB Blast and hit it with a torch until it breaks free. But the button, try and figure out some way to get that back in there. I'm gonna try and get that fixed. This one, it's also got to get broken loose. The rust on this one's not nearly as bad, but it's still not great. Yeah, see, it's just falling apart. All right, so I've decided that, well, I haven't really decided. I was informed by people smarter than myself that it's probably just a better idea to replace the doors than it is to try and repair them. Plus, with my welding skills, it's probably a good idea. So I found a couple of them for sale, or a couple part outs nearby. So I sent them some messages. We'll see what they have to say. But in the meantime, these lights don't work. So we're going to try that next. Probably stand to clean these up. They're kind of dirty. Okay. We all know how good I am with electricity, so we'll see how this goes. So we got it set to ohms. So we got it set to 200 ohms. Check between contacts between the sides of the socket, base and the sides of the socket should be 0. So assuming that's going to be positive. Well, we're getting a reading. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I'm gonna do this. I'll get back to you guys. All right, so I tested the bulb against the housing with it off, and that gave me, I think it was 2 ohms or something. So now I've got it on the charger, because I'm pretty sure I killed the battery last night. I was trying to start it because I haven't started this thing in a while. So lights are on. It's on the charger. I'll show them reversed. How's it reversed? This is negative. That's positive. Why is it showing reversed? Are these reversed? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, let's keep that. Yeah, this one's positive. That one's positive. Huh, I don't know. I don't know why it's showing reverse on here. Now we're gonna test the socket. Oh, sorry, we're on 20 volts. So we're going from the side of the socket to the connectors at the bottom. Oh. Okay. All right, that's showing 10 volts. While I'm out here, give you guys a cold start. No, batteries are dead. All right, so we're getting power to the actual housing. There's no grounds or anything, apparently. So we're gonna see if we can't get at least one of these filaments to light. So I am going to figure out how to set up my phone here, so that way we can get a video of whether or not these filaments are working. I just realized that I don't actually need to turn the camera off to go and do this. All right, so we got the one tail light working. So I'm gonna check the other side, and then I will get back to you guys when we have an update. All right, guys, so we got the lights working. These just daytime running light things. So those work. The brake lights work. And the only ones that don't work are the reverse lights, but I'm not required to have those in order for this to be road legal. So not super worried about that at the moment. We will have to deal with that eventually. Turns out the problem was just a loose connection up there on the switch. So we got that. That's all figured out. The next thing on the agenda, oh, also before, I don't know if I mentioned it yet or not, but we're probably gonna end up just replacing these doors. I've got a lead on some new ones, so we're gonna go check those out here in the next couple of days. So next up on the list is gonna be the window motors, because none of them work except for rear, that one, which I think is, oh, there it goes. Yeah, so that's the only one that actually works. The rest of these, this one works, but once again, the window's not in the track. So I got 4 new ones we can use. I'm just gonna replace all of them. I also want to do the door cards, but I don't have any door cards to actually replace this with. But as is with the rear doors, there's some pretty considerable rust all the way along the bottom on all 4 of them, except I can't check this one because this door is like locked shut, and I don't it won't open. I don't know why. I think the latch itself is rusted shut, but so the door is unlocked. So I think this is just, yeah. All right, but I'm gonna call it for today. It's starting to get, I should probably turn this off. So I'm gonna call it for today. It's starting to get pretty late out. It's starting to get a little chilly out as well. So I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Might have some new doors for this thing. All right, guys. So it's been about a week. The lead on the doors ended up not panning out, so I'm probably just gonna take these ones off and then have them repaired, which is gonna cost more than just getting new doors. But you know, there's not really much I can do about that. So in the meantime, next thing we got on our list is we got to replace the battery tray, because this one is completely rusted out. So to do that, need to just take the battery out. Yeah, as you can see, it's not one piece anymore. I got the battery tray out. As you can see, it's not in the best of shape. Batteries, I gotta put that on the charger because they're both dead. Still, I haven't charged this thing. Once again, it's still not legal to drive, so I haven't really been super worried about it. But now I gotta go pull the emergency brake cable out. Apparently, there's several different sizes for the C20s and the C10s in general. I go to different sizes and that deal with the different size brakes. Like this has got the 13-inch drums on it. So I gotta pull that out, find out which size it is that I've got, and then order a new one. Then I can put the battery tray on order as well. And then once we do that, take this thing to the body shop, because there's a pretty reputable one nearby. And I'm gonna have them look at the rust on the doors. I gotta try and get this door open also. I might try and do that next. And we'll figure something out. But first, battery tray. Oh, not battery tray, parking brake cable. So as you can see, right here, somebody attempted to repair by just splicing cable on there. What did they do? They just took a cable, they just took a steel wire and ran it to both the rear brakes. All right, well, I'm gonna go do some research, find out which size cable I need. I'm gonna move this inside, gonna move that inside. We'll find out how to deal with the parking brake cable, because now the release is stuck, so that's fun. All right, guys, I apologize about it for it being dark out here, but this came up kind of last second. So my buddy's coming by tomorrow afternoon to pick up his El Camino, which you can't really see here, and the Suburban's in the way. So last time we tried charging this, the batteries were dead. That was about a week and a half ago. The battery tray on this driver's side one has been removed, so I've just got a couple pieces of wood in there holding it up to try and keep it out of the way. I realized I forgot the keys. All right, got the keys. So we're gonna cycle the glow plugs a couple times because the Suburban hasn't started in quite a while. It is currently 15 degrees out here. Well, that's not good. Oh, I gotta plug in the negative. All right, there we go. Oh, I can't feel my face. Okay. Still not good. Lights out, hopefully. Oh, they're still clicking on, which is a good sign. All right. All right, we're gonna cycle this one more time. Come on. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh. Okay. I'll let this cycle a couple times. I'm gonna go set this up so you can hear the exhaust, and hopefully I can. Once again, you're not really gonna be able to see much, but hopefully you'll be able to hear it pretty well. Oh, I was worried there for a second. I wasn't going to start. It sounded pretty terrible, but now this is idling. It sounds pretty healthy and loud. All right, guys, so it's been about a week since I went and got the doors. So got new ones. They are completely rust-free, minus some surface rust. What they don't have is a window or any of the hardware in there. Actually, you know what? I take that back. That one's got the stuff in it. So I can find some windows and get those swapped over, but that is a project for another day. But right now what we're gonna do is install this battery tray or battery holder thing, because the wood blocks I was using are not going to get me through an inspection. Miscellaneous vacuum line that should be connected to something but isn't. And then once we're done with that, to figure out how to replace the parking brake cables, which is going to be fun because I can't really seem to find any how-tos on the YouTubes or Google on how to do that. So we're just gonna have to figure it out. So first thing we're gonna do, oh, there's a battery in my foot. First thing I'm gonna do is put this in. Shouldn't be too hard to do. I'm using washers on these because the hole isn't actually big enough or small enough to allow these to fit in there, and this tray didn't come with any new ones, so just found a couple that I had lying around. Just gonna put them in there. There's a couple different bowl holes in here. This is meant to be attached to a couple different models of these square bodies. They got a couple different layouts going on, so this has got a bunch of holes in it that we're just not going to be using. But once you get your nuts in there, your nut and bolts in there, just tighten it up. All right, so I got it in. Once again, it's not super hard. You just put your bolts in here and then just tighten it down. So there's 4 up here. On this side, it only lines up with 1 bolt on this side. And then there's 2 over here, but once again, only lines up with 1. So I got 2 on the top, and there's another one down at the bottom. It comes in from the bottom, and then there's like a threaded connection on there. So you just connect it, and then that's it. It's not too much to it. This parking brake, on the other hand, it's going to be the bane of my existence. Get all these gumballs out of here. This cable might actually still be good. Imagine that the parking brake itself is still in fairly decent shape, but the problem is that all of this slack shouldn't be in here. But up there at the front, there's an adjustment nut, so I can tighten that all the way down, and that should take care of all of this slack. I think there's might be a little bit too much corrosion on there for that to be the practical repair. I mean, we can try it because that's going to save me a lot of time and effort. I'd rather replace it because I have the new one. So these 2 right here are the rears. These 2 are the intermediates, and then this is the front one that connects to the actual pedal itself. Seems a little complicated to me. All right, change of plans. So the buddy of mine that had the El Camino here borrowed my my large jack. He left the small one here, and this one is this is a 1.5 ton, but it doesn't have enough height to actually lift up the back of the Suburban. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do parking brake cables today. I also can't do the doors because there's no windows. I could use these ones, but they are cracked. You can kind of see it there, but it goes all the way across and then come back up around. Then this one is also cracked, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, comes all the way across. So that is quite unfortunate. Means I'm gonna have to call it for today on this one. I guess that gives me time to go try and figure out what it is or what I need to do to actually replace the cable. So I guess I'll see you guys once we get back to it. All right, so I don't know where we left off in the last video. I think we had just installed the battery tray. So now we're gonna do the parking brake cables. But in order to do that, I gotta get the back end up off the ground. So I got my jack under there. I'm gonna take these wheels off. So these don't look too bad. It's a little bit of wear there on the inside, but this is a 40-year-old drum, so I'm not surprised. But you keep using that. So now, if you can see those 2 screws down there, that's what connects the e-brake to the drum. So we've got to pull that out and then disconnect it from right over here. And I've also got a bunch of hardware to replace for this. So I got new springs, new shoes. Yeah, so I'm gonna get all that stuff. I'm gonna do this first side or like to break stuff off camera because I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be out here for probably forever. So do this side, then once I'm done I'll get back to you, and then we'll do the typical this is what I did update. Guys, there's a hawk overhead. There he is. Anyway, so I got all the driver's side brake stuff off. Kind of got it mostly cleaned up. I don't have a new one of these, so I'm just gonna reuse it. It's not leaking or anything, so it should be fine. So now I just gotta grease all these contact points, and then next we gotta pull off the emergency cable brake. So I got a couple wrenches over here, find out which size it is. All right, it's a 1/2 inch. So there's a couple bolts on here. Just gonna take these off. So I'm gonna go grab another 1/2 inch. I'll take this off, and then I'll get back to you guys in a second. All right, so now I'll take the old one out. I got the new one right here. So we're just gonna take this out of the bag, and then just put it in where the old one was. All right, so I got it in there. I just got to tighten it up, but I think I'm going to put the shoes in place before I actually do that, just so that I can get the spacing on it done correctly. So I'm going to get everything put back together, and then I will get back to you guys in a minute. All right, guys, so I got this whole side buttoned up. I'm pretty sure I did it correctly. I got the cable hooked up to the thing. So I'm gonna put the put the drum back on there, and then bolt the wheel back on, and then I'm gonna go inside because it is currently like 30 degrees out here and I am freezing. So I'm gonna do the other side as I've got time to do it over here in the next couple of days, and then we're gonna move on with the next part, the intermediate cable, and then the one that's connected to the actual pedal itself in the cab. All right, see you in a second. All right, guys, so I got all the drums all sorted out, put back together. I got the wheels on there. I'm pretty sure that they're adjusted correctly. However, I'm not really 100% sure, so once we finish with this whole thing and get the batteries charged, and then drive it up and down the street here, and then get them to auto adjust, that way they're correct. But for now, our next job is going to be removing this part, installing this one, and then replacing this intermediate cable, and then the front one that's all the way up there that actually connects to the pedal. But first, what we're going to do is this one. So I'm going to go ahead, set up the camera, grab some tools and some various other things. Probably get distracted again like I did last time, as evidenced by the fire that's been burning for 2 days over there. The new ones didn't come with clips, so we're gonna reuse this. Just hope I don't lose it. Just love working on a dirt driveway. Alright, so that's in there. I don't know if I got another one of these brackets here, so I'm gonna take this one off and put it on. If we do got a new one, I'll just swap it out real quick. And now move on to the other side. It smells like burning lawn out here. Alright, this one we're probably gonna have to cut because it's got this crimp on it. Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna go grab some wire cutters, and then we're gonna have to cut this side off. So we got the rear cable in. However, because one of the, I'm sure multiple people that owned this truck prior to me getting it crimped on one of the wires, we only have one of these. So I got to run to the parts store and try and find another one. So I've already been to AutoZone, Advanced Auto, and Napa, and I'm about to run to O'Reilly's here in a little bit, but I'm going to do the front cable first. And then so once I get that in, the only thing I'm going to have left to do is the intermediate cable. And then that should be it for this. And then I'm probably going to cut the video after that. In order to take out this front cable, which can't really see from down here, you're going to have to come in here to your parking brake, to your actual brake here, and then up here, you can see the top of the cable right here, and then here at the base of this bracket is just a little pin, or not a pin, it's like a clip. So you just push that clip out and then the cable falls down. And then you can just take it out and put the new one in. So I need to find something I can use to remove. This is a stuck door, isn't it? I know you're not really going to be able to see this super well, but I can't really get the camera in there much better than what it is currently. So we're just going to take this clip, get this carpet out of the way. All right, so I got it out. Basically, you're just going to take like a flathead, or it might be easier with the scribe, and then you can just stick it in one of these holes right here, and then just wiggle it back and forth, and eventually it'll come off. So once you do that, you got to take some small pliers, like these needle nose here, and then you're going to grab the top of that cable and you're just going to pull it up and then try and get it to release. It helps a lot if you pull the pedal forward, trying to get the actual connection itself to move down, so you don't have to move it as far. All right. All right. So now it's loose, it's free. Now I'm gonna come to the bottom underneath the truck once again. Just goes up right here. Might be something else holding it in place. All right, so next we got to do is we got to pull this clip here off to get this bottom out, and then I got to try and find what's holding it this up there still. So I'm just gonna grab some pliers or a flathead. Get out of the way so you don't get any rust in your eyes. Rust and dirt. And you're just gonna keep prying at it until it comes loose. I just used the flathead and then went and used the this cross member as a support, and then just pried against the flange here, and then it came right off. So now this comes out. It's still stuck up there, so we're gonna go back underneath the dash again. All right, so once we're back up top, we're just gonna look around, see what else we got up here. And the only thing holding this in place right now is this rubber gasket that's right here. And then I'm just gonna cut that, and then we should be able to remove it. All right, so we got the old one out. It was this gasket was stuck up behind the wheel liner, the actual body. So just had to cut it out and then just give it a sharp pull down, and then it came out, because as you can see, it was just sitting there. It was this rubber gasket was sandwiching the metal. So now that it's out, and we can do as Chris Fix says, and out with the old, in with the new. So this side right here, this is the side that's going into the cab, so we're going to do that side first, and then we're going to route this to the section on the frame rail, and that's gonna be it. Can't really do the intermediate right now because I still don't have the part, but once I get that, I'll show you guys me installing it, and we'll probably cut the video there. All right, so it turns out that cable over there is too short, so 2.5 hours, half tank of gas, and $30 later, I still probably haven't learned my lesson, but at least now we got the right cable. So this one's the correct length. So now we're just gonna basically do the exact opposite of what we did, but we're still missing that bracket for the intermediate cable. So once we put this in here, we can connect the intermediate to this front cable, and then that's going to be it, because I don't have the piece to do the other side. So I'm just going to do this off camera. I mean, it's not super difficult. We're just going to essentially just do, or the reverse of what you did to take this out. You're just going to put it back up there, clip it onto the pedal, and then clip it into the bracket under the truck. That's pretty much it. Okay, so now that I've got the front cable in, I had to connect it to the pedal up there, which was kind of a process because I'm by myself, and the spring that's down there was fighting me. So I ended up pushing it up as much as I could, grabbing a pair of small channel locks, moving or grabbing like the base of it as far down as I could on the wire, and then pulling it up as far as it can go, and then taking the pedal and then lifting it as far as I could get it, just to get enough space to actually get the cable end to sit in the slot. So now that's in there. The only thing I can really do now is install the back half of it, and then I can put the hold down, or this connection thing on there, and that's going to be all we can do, because once again I've only got one of these, because one of the previous owners has decided that instead of just ordering a new one, because it's like $5, that he was just going to crimp the wire on there. So we're going to be at a standstill until the new ones get here, which was supposed to be today, but the email that I got this morning said Thursday. So that's going to be fun. But anyway, so next part, just going to climb under this truck once again. I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm gonna carry on. Alright, so now we got it on the bracket. The only thing left to do is install this piece, and then the intermediate cable, which then connects to the two rears. I still haven't put that one on the bracket yet. I'm gonna do that here in a minute. So once we get that actual connection piece in here, we can connect those two together, and then it'll just be a matter of putting this on and then adjusting the nuts until it's taut. And that's it. That's the entire install. So it's not super complicated. It's kind of involved thing to do, but you can do it in a couple hours if you got everything. So this piece is like angled, so as you can see, so make sure that the sides of it are pointing backwards, because that's going to be the angle that the cable goes. It's going to look kind of like a U. So you want this to make sure that the bottom of that U is facing the front of the truck. And that just goes on there. Then you just put your nuts on it like so, and then that's pretty much it. So normally you'd run the cable through the bottom of this here, but obviously because I don't have the parts, I'm just not going to do that right now. What I can do in the meantime, take this one out, put this one back in. Alright, so now that one's in, that side's in, the front's in, and I'm still missing the piece for the intermediate cables. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. So this is probably gonna be, if I had to guess, I would have to say this is probably gonna be either my last video or the second to last video that I upload for the rest of the year. I don't know when I'm coming back. I have a general idea, but it's not even really set in stone right now. So when I get back, what I plan on doing is paving the driveway. So getting this whole thing paved, I'm gonna extend it out that way a little bit so I can park two cars out front. So I can put this one over there, and then I can park my truck, or my actual truck, right here where I normally parked it, but I can't because obviously this is in the way. Driveway paved, and then the wood shed's gonna come down, or not a shed, the wood garage is gonna come down, and then I'm gonna be putting up, I'm gonna be getting this extended about 10 feet this way, so it'll come to about here, roughly, and that's about 10 feet. I don't really have a lot of depth perception, so it's gonna come to about here to make it 30 feet wide, and then I'm gonna bring it back about 4 feet, which will be right about there, to make it 20 feet long. So that's going to give me a bigger garage space. I might be able to put 2 cars in there so I can have the BMW on one side and then I'll have the Hudson on the other side, which will give me space for another project to go right here. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. That's a lie. I know exactly what I'm going to do. But anyway, so that's the plan right now. But once that's going to be the priority. But once that gets built, we're going to tear this down to a complete bare shell and then sandblast it, because there's a lot of rust on it and it needs like a complete frame off basically. So because of the whole wheel things, which I've almost 100% positive is because the frame, it's not bent, but the sides of it, they're not sitting parallel. It's kind of, I don't really know how to do this with one hand, but one side's up here and the other side is sitting slightly forward of that, and then it's kind of off. So instead of being straight, it's kind of, so the frame on this is no good. So I've got a couple options on it. First one being just get a C20 4x4 frame, which would be the easiest thing to do, because then it's just a direct bolt on. I just take the body off, roll the chassis or roll the frame out, roll the new one under, bring it down, bolt it in, good to go. Or what I could do is get like a modern 3500 or 2500 3500 frame from like a GM, from a Silverado or from a GMC, and then roll that under here, which would give me modern suspension, should make this thing super comfortable to drive. But then I'd have to, oh excuse me, but then I'd have to like cut the frame down to actually get it to match, because none of the, as far as I'm aware, none of the modern chassis are the same length as this. So I would have to get whatever chassis it is and then get a cut and then shortened to match. But if we went that route, that would also give us a dual rear wheel, which would be kind of cool on a dually. That would also give us a heavier duty front suspension, which means I could do that medium duty diesel swap in here. I want to do the cat swap in this thing, do the 3126 cat, but I could also do a DT360, which would be, it'd be cheaper to install because it's mechanical. A big problem with that is if anything goes wrong on that engine, then it's going to be a lot harder to fix. The cat engine is going to be more expensive, but Caterpillar still supports it, so they still make parts for it. Yeah, so this whole thing's gonna get sandblasted down, and then all 4 of these doors are gonna get replaced because they're rusting. So the bottoms of them are kind of rotted out. You can see like along here, it's all rusted, and along the bottom, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's rusting here behind this piece. I don't even really like the way this looks. I'm gonna take that off anyway, but I took it off on this side. You can see there's a hole starting to form there. There's a hole there. There's a big hole there. These quarter panels are probably gonna have, or the inner side of them anyway, is gonna have to get repaired. I've got the new rear doors, I just don't have the windows, so I'm just gonna take the hardware out of this door and then swap it over. There's a huge crease right here. I'm gonna have to get that fixed. This door doesn't even open because the mechanism on the inside is broken. And this door, same thing, it's starting to rust here, and then the bottom of it is not in the best of shape. So all 4 doors, well, all 6 doors basically, are going to be getting replaced. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the frame. I want to do this swap, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I got a lot of other stuff that I got to do. I've got a solid plan going forward for the Hudson, so I'm not going to be touching that for the rest of the year, obviously, because I'm leaving, but there's a plan for it. But for now, that's all I got. So I'll see you guys in the next one.